Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. Today we're doing Maaser Sheni, Perek Dalet, Mishnayos Gimel, and Mishnah Dalet. This is really Shabbos' day, but today is Sunday. Mishnah Gimel says, Baal Bayis Omer B'Sela, Ve'achar Omer B'Sela. Right? You're allowed to redeem Maaser Sheni to bring it to Yerushalayim. Masarta Kesef Biadecha. You don't have to actually bring the fruits of Maaser Sheni. You can actually redeem it. Now, the Torah says that when the Baal Bayis, the owner of the Maaser Sheni, redeems it, he has to add not just the value, but another fifth, the chomesh. However, if it does not belong to you and you're redeeming it, you don't have to pay that chomesh. So the Baal Bayis, they put in a claim. He wants to redeem it, right, for a seller. And someone else says, also a seller, who's not the Baal Bayis. Baal Bayis kodem. We listen to the offer of the Baal Bayis first, Mnei shehu mosif chomesh, because he's adding a chomesh, and Maaser Sheni Yado Al Yon is getting more value. Baal Bayis Omer B'Sela. Yeah, the Baal Bayis Sela Ve'achar Omer B'Sela of Isar. Another person says a Sela, and a little more, 1 penny more. Es Shel Sela of Isar Kodem. The other person's offer is taken first. Neshu Mosif Al HaKeren, because on the principle he's giving more. He's giving more for the principle, right? If you can get more for the value of Maaser Sheni, you should do that. The reason, even though the Baal Bayis has to pay a chomesh, and technically that would be a lot more than a sell of Isar, we're going to see, as the Rav explains, because there's a lot of ways to trick your way out of paying that chomesh. Hapod the Maaser Sheni shalo, if you're doing your own Maaser Sheni, mosif alav chamishis, you pay an extra fifth. Ben shehu shalo, ben shenas nitalav matana, whether it was actually your own fruits that you grew, or somebody else gave you tevel, meaning it wasn't taken off Maaser Sheni yet, and then you took off Maaser Sheni, so now it's yours, and you have to yipod it with the Karen and be most of a chomesh. You can't, we're not talking about a case where the Maaser Sheni was already taken off and you give it to someone else, because we hold like our mayor, Maaser Sheni is moment gavo, and you can't give it as a present to someone else. You don't have that right to do that. Dalid. Ma'arimin al Maaser Sheni, like we said, we mentioned, you can play tricks with Maaser Sheni in order to avoid paying this chomesh. Case Omer Adam Lebno Bita Gdolim LaAvdil Shuchas HaIvrim Heilach Maos Elu Updelecha Maaser Sheni. He has Maaser Sheni fruit, right? So he can give money to his children who are older than bar mitzvah or bar mitzvah, or he can give to his avodim that are avodim ivrim, Jewish slaves, right? You could have Jewish slaves if they stole or something like that, and they need to be sold to you to pay off their debt. And when they take off, when they are posed to the Maaser Sheni, so that's not you. Right, as opposed to the Sefer of the Mishnah, but your young children under the age of bar bat mitzvah, if you have non-Jewish slaves, because you basically own the bodies of the avodim knainim, you own the bodies of your children, and therefore, even though you gave them money, it's like you mashakana evid kana rabo. Then it's there, you gave it to them, but it's still in your pocket. It still belongs to you. So therefore, you're being podeh, and you have to be most of a chomesh, as opposed to if you gave it to your older children or avodim ivrim. So then it's somebody else's money when they're podeh. They don't have to be most of a chomesh. That's the conclusion of today's shir. Stay tuned for Ian Mitzion, where we analyze these mishnayos further.